Good evening. The Americans are retreating for now after starting a trade war with Canada and Mexico. Donald Trump now says that the 25% tariff on Canadian goods, which fall under the North American Trade Pact, will be put on hold until April the 2nd. Mexico is getting the same reprieve. According to U.S. media reports, Canadian energy is not included in that trade agreement, meaning 10% tariffs introduced on Tuesday remain in effect. Oil and gas is the #1 export from Canada to the U.S. Local leaders in our province say the economic uncertainty is already resulting in a slowdown in the sector. Shilan Skulski reports.
Companies here in Nisku are really concerned.
We don't usually pick up till, June, but I don't know, it's kind of scary.
Workers in Alberta's oil and gas sector are bracing.
Just as I said before, that Danielle Smith's non-tariff approach to the United States in terms of not imposing oil tariffs has indeed failed. And the evidence is clear now that Trump pulling back tariffs on USMCA products except oil and energy is a sign that her non-confrontational diplomacy approach has indeed faltered. We have provinces like Ontario, where Doug Ford pushed against these tariffs with a strong hand and eventually saved some of his industries, one of them being the major industry of auto manufacturing. The Doug Ford approach to dealing with tariffs has proven more successful than the Alberta approach. And people said that no, we should take the diplomatic approach to dealing with tariffs. And for a matter of some fact, it has worked, but it hasn't been from Danielle Smith. To appease Trump is to basically ask for failure, as when you're dealing with an individual like Trump, you can expect him to follow through on whatever irrational ideas he has of trade or the economy or fentanyl, and how he has been chopping this up to say that it's all about fentanyl, or how his trade people have been saying that is utterly fanciful. We have done much action on that front, and we've essentially delivered 100% results getting fentanyl from the northern border to the United States to such a minimal amount that it's insignificant to say that it's a major problem. This is just a false flag to challenge the Canadian economy and to subjugate and make us seem that we should go and kiss the ring in Washington. The 10% energy tariffs persist. They persist despite the diplomatic actions taken by Ms. Smith, which is not surprising, because if you go in with a weak hand with Donald Trump, he will surely exploit that. And what has Mrs. Smith's response been? All in all, she has chosen not to confront, and she's chosen to put the Alberta oil sector under risk of job loss as well as profit loss now, because if you're not going to respond to tariffs, you're eventually going to have to see that your oil is not being sold to the Americans in such great amounts as it would have been before. So by taking the non-tariff approach, you're still courting the things that would have happened if you did impose tariffs, because now they're happening without any opposition. Job loss will come. The Americans will start producing their own oil because they don't want to pay the 10% or the extra 10% tariffs that that is being imposed by Trump on the Albertan oil economy. And in all due light of these updates, instead of focusing on trying to maybe take a new approach that is consistent with the situation, Smith has now chosen to oppose the federal government and continue the same rhetoric of complaining without solutions, saying that, oh, yeah, we might have an opportunity for a reset once a new prime minister comes in. There is no courting with Donald Trump. Even if a new prime minister comes in, liberal, conservative, whoever, you're going to get the same result. Trump only responds to fire with fire. He only responds to pain. Look at the past 2 days. He tried to consistently impose the tariff, and it failed. And now he has to scale back. He has to go on the retreat because he saw that it was causing harm in the markets. The S&P, the NASDAQ were all falling. And on top of that, consumers within the United States, even Fox News, were saying this is not such a great thing. And that is the only way you'll make him realize that, hey, I should maybe not do this, because he has no plan. He has no sensibility. He's looking for a fight, and what he should get is a fight in return. Now, instead of addressing this, she goes on CTV today and starts talking down about the Canadian government and the Trudeau government, which in a different time would be reasonable to say. Trudeau government has indeed opposed pipelines and has indeed made laws restricting the oil economy in Canada. But is right now the best time to talk about that when your head is in the mouth of this lion, the United States? And instead of trying to get out of that grasp of its death, you're trying to talk about something totally inconvenient right now. And it just seems like you're trying to score political points at this time. What I can say for sure is that the Danielle Smith, Alberta, non-confrontational approach has put Alberta in a weak position in front of the United States, a weak position that is now being exploited because they have now kept the 10% tariffs on them instead of reversing them like they have with some of the tariffs that were compliant with the USMCA. Most of them, actually, except oil and energy. It's clear that Trump does not care about Alberta. He doesn't care about Canada. He cares about what he's always been saying, America first. And you can't reason with somebody that acts in such a selfish manner. And it should be now apparent that there needs to be taken a new approach accordingly, instead of trying to score political points by talking down to the federal government. Maybe you should sell oil at the world rate. We're selling oil at a discounted rate to the United States. We should sell maybe at the world standard. Or maybe we should charge an extra royalty on that oil. Because otherwise, your economy in Alberta will be devastated. People will lose jobs. And it's time for the oil magnates to wake up and call for new measures to challenge this beast that your head is in the mouth of. So that's what I have to say about this. Please leave your comments down below, your opinion. And usually, I think over the past couple of weeks, people have been complaining that no, this approach is the great approach for Canada. We shouldn't be fighting the USA. No, we should be bending on a knee for Trump. Well, it's clearly not working, just like I said. There you have it. Have a wonderful day.